So welcome everyone to um, our weekly consultation. Today our focus is going to start with phase two, but of course any questions that you have about the program, any support you need, we are here to deliver it to you. To get us started on our weekly consultation, we're going to have Vicki Lauer share her experience with the program. You know, she's a veteran here with the program, would love to hear her experience, and then we will get started into our presentation. Vicki.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. We can hear you
Oh,
and we see you.
well, I started the program a year ago back in January 2nd, and it was a journey that was amazing for us. I was also struggling with autoimmune, so I had some ups and downs throughout my 20 days and wasn't satisfied with the weight I lost. So I decided to go into the 40-day at that time, and I was able to lose about 16 pounds. I also found that was a lot healthier. And then we've been on the program and was doing really good. Phase three was amazing for us because we do enjoy good food. And we did pretty much follow the 80-20 plan. But as the summer went on, we've been doing a lot of traveling this past 4 months and kind of got off the program some. So I've kind of gained a few pounds and decided that we were just going to start another journey with the Relivfit program. And starting next week, we're going to start doing phase one again. And hopefully just for the 20 days to get my cellular health back in check and also to lose a few more pounds. So I'm really excited about this and really have enjoyed the good eating and just to be able not to do a yo-yo diet, and was just totally amazed that the foods we do eat have been good. And we know that when we have been off track with our healthiest eating plan, that in a couple of days we're back into our weight set point. So just so excited about doing another journey and can't wait to get started next week.
Well, thank you for sharing, and a great experience because it's a real experience, and a great example of recognizing that you have the tools given to you from the program, and that's life. I don't, you know, my expectation for people with the program is we can lose at least 10 pounds in 20 days, do it in a healthy way, lose at least 20 pounds in 40 days. And again, it's done in a very healthy way. So you can simply enjoy life when after you lock it in, and we support the body with the critical cellular nutrition that will optimize that metabolic activity. And then we understand that, we're not robots. We're going to have times that maybe we get out of our weight set point a bit. Maybe, we put on, we go through a period of time where we say, you know what, I got to prioritize other aspects of my life. And the weight comes up a bit, but I'm sure it wasn't all of it. It was just a bit more than you said that you felt comfortable with. And then you
Mm-hmm.
remembered, I got these tools, and it's as simple as that. So thank you for sharing your progress. We're now gonna go into talking about one of the really probably the phase that's going to set you up for the best success. Phase one, of course, yes, we can lose weight. It's highly regimented, and that allows us to kind of standardize your progress. We remove a lot of the confounding variables, complicating factors. We follow a very simple food plan. But ultimately, I know you can't stay on a phase one food list forever. First off, you need the starches and fats and things like that we had you stay away from in phase one. Again, not because they were bad, but simply we were letting your body optimize lipid metabolism in its quest for uh, supporting cellular repair. But now in phase two, we are going to take that cellular rehabilitation to the next level. This allows you to gain a greater variety of foods that you can enjoy and eat without putting your cells at risk of chronic inflammation. Because I think that there are lots of foods you can and should enjoy. Because your body is innately intelligent, it can take all kinds of food sources and convert them to your benefit. But the cells need to be prepared, just like an athlete needs to train. If you went to maybe, it's possible that one time, a lot of people who are beginner weightlifters, they overestimate what amount of weight they need to exercise with for reps. Now, some of it is because people think, well, if there's no pain, there's no gain. And while, of course, we want exercise in order to gain muscle to be challenging, it's not meant to be debilitating. So, a lot of people, they say, oh, well, I was able to do 12 repetitions of 20 pounds of tricep extensions and bicep curls. So that was too easy. It's like, oh, I was able to do that. So then they jump up to 40 or 60 pounds or something like that. And they might be able to crank out like 5 reps. Heck, they might even be able to crank out 10 really hard reps. But the stimulus that their muscles went under then sets them back where they're not able to exercise for a while because of how sore and tired they are. And of course, then you're not doing the next stimulus on those muscles to have them grow. So why am I talking about building muscle in the context of phase two? Because in order for it's possible that yes, your cells, you could toss it something at your cells. Let's talk like your Cheesecake Factory. You go to Cheesecake Factory, and yeah, like you can tolerate it once, but if your cells aren't properly prepared, then it's not going to be able to sustain a regular incorporation of cheesecake into your diet. And then you're stuck with, oh, well, I do cheesecake, but I can only do it like once a year. No, the goal of the program, in my view, is let's have you eat your favorite foods without guilt or fear. But in order to do that, we need to build up your cellular health. Now, to do that, we're going to begin layering in the foods that you start to add back into the diet with the purpose of calibrating your metabolism to this new level of biochemical stressors. But it's also meant to reset your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus is the part of your brain that regulates homeostasis. So essentially, how does your body tolerate stressors like cheesecake? All right. Can it respond quickly, efficiently, like a high level athlete? Great. Then it's able to go back to its resting state quickly. Now, after weight loss, your body naturally wants to go back to its old resting state, which is the old weight. So we need to correct your brain's recognition of what your new body weight is. And then all of your other metabolic activities are going to be naturally directed to sustaining your weight. This way, we pull you out of your body getting adapted to like a low calorie deficit, like a calorie deficit type of diet, but also allowing it to redirect that energy not to gaining weight back, but rather to keeping the weight off. And so this is a 3-week period of time, about a 3-week minimum, where we will gradually increase your calories. So within about 7 to 10 days, we're going to build up your calories slowly to your max calories. And then we stay eating all those calories for the rest of the period of time. And then you're done with phase two and can move on to phase three. Now, what's very important is recognizing what is your weight set point. So your weight set point is your new weight plus or minus 2.0 pounds. Once again, your body is not a robot. I was just listening to some people today talking about AI. And of course, we're all presented with, in the news, news and podcasters, they talk about AI in like two directions. Either it's going to create this great utopia for all of us of the machines doing everything, or it's the dystopia where everyone loses their jobs and everything. And the truth and the real reality of it is um, AI is still a robot, and guess what? Humans are better than robots because it can only augment what we do. That's really it. Anyway, that's another tangent for another day. I if you don't get if anything you take out of this, just remember I am a speciesist in the sense that I like humans and I think humans are cool. So that's what's so fun about um, learning human biology and physiology. It's amazing what we're capable of doing, such as losing weight, and then by stimulating our food, our body with proper nutrition, what we're able to achieve. So, phase two, one of the tools that you will want is an app to track your calories. So, we will track calories in phase two, but I think you'll find it's more enjoyable tracking calories when your goal is to pause weight loss and maintain rather than trying to lose weight. So, first off, if you were someone who said, I never like tracking calories, I think you're going to have more fun in phase two. But MyFitnessPal is one I like because all the features we need to use are free. And in the app, you go to the settings, and in the settings under profile and goals, profile, you put your height, sex, and date of birth, and your goals, you put your current weight, your goal weight, and your goal weight and your current weight in phase two is the same number. So if you have lost over 20 pounds in phase one, and now you're sitting at 225, I understand you might have a goal of getting to 185 in the long run, but that's for later. Your current weight and your goal weight will still be 225. Now, if your current weight is 115, then your goal weight is 115. So it's the same for that. And then you just set your weekly goal to maintain weight and what is your activity level that best describes you, ranging from not very active all the way to very active. Now, if you're not sure if you fall at active or lightly active, it is okay to choose the lower option because we can always add calories if we need to. Now, in phase two, any level of exercise that can be safely done is encouraged. And if you're someone who is a couch potato, then try just walking 30 minutes 5 days a week. I think you'll be really surprised at the difference that can make for you. But again, any exercise that can be safely done is encouraged. Phase two, once you put that information in, you're going to get your calorie goal. This will be unique to you. And in this example, the person's calorie goal is 1,700. So we're going to gradually build up to that. We're not going to start on that with day one completely. We're just going to do about, like, let's say 1,000 calories, and then we'll gradually add 100, 200 calories each day until you get to your total calorie goal. We want to get up to your calorie goal within 7 to 10 days, but then I want to see if we can try and push you a little bit further. By trying to train your body to a higher level of calories, it just creates a buffer zone for you to have a little more fun in phase three. That's the ideal. But first, let's get up to your main calorie goal gradually. And then if we can add 200 calories more on top of that, that's great. So for me, my calorie goal was 3,200 calories. So I had to eat 30. My goal was to try to get up to 3,400 in total. Now, the only numbers that you really need to pay attention to when it comes to tracking your calories is the amount of food that you're actually putting in. There is a spot for exercise, but I want you to ignore that number because the amount of calories you are typically going to be burning from exercise that require you to eat food, that number was already calculated based off of your choice of activity level. So if you put your activity level as very active, that's probably adding at least 500 calories to your normal routine. Um, and that will already be reflected in this goal number. Okay. So you don't have to worry about eating 273 calories more if your app says you burn that many calories from exercise. That calculation, again, already taken into account based off your choice of activity level. But again, please exercise in phase two. This is a great time. We've done so much to support your health that you're now going to get a lot of benefit from exercise. If you were someone who said, I never really felt any benefit out of exercise except sore joints and sore muscles, then give it another go. Now that we've improved your mitochondrial health, your recovery should be much better. The actual benefit you get in terms of anti-inflammatory control from exercise, the benefits of muscle stimulus of growth is much more improved now, especially as you continue to support your body with the critical nutrition. And this is why I tell people in phase 2, continue to take the Reliv shake, at a minimum, your core nutrition shake. So your classic or now with Energize and Fiber Store. Because during this time, this cellular rehabilitation, it makes zero sense to neglect your cells when the factory workers finally just got the building put back in order a bit after phase 1. And now we're trying to do some expansion. We're trying to do real work here. So keep the good materials coming during phase 2. However, you might consider adding a second or a third shake, depending on your health goal needs. So talk to your coach about that. There are lots of great targeted solutions that can help you further and to accelerate your health goals. So all good stuff there. Now, let's talk about how to use the app to track your calories. You simply tap where it says add food, then you search a food, and you put in the number of servings and what was the serving size. So if the serving size is a quarter cup and you add a half cup, then that's 2 servings. And the app will do the rest of the math for you when it comes to calories and the macro breakdown. Now, I just added something new there to you, maybe. That's macronutrients. We do want to keep track or tabs of your macronutrients, and the app is very helpful so that you can do so easily. In phase 2, we have our carbohydrates, so that's mostly your fruits and vegetables, your proteins, and healthy fats. Now, the reason we track macros is because the goal is to keep your weight inside the limits of the weight set point, which is 2 pounds above or 2 pounds below. The guideline in phase 2 is to start with an even balance of a third, a third, and a third. And that's because it's a good baseline to make sure that you are meeting your macro needs, your different calorie needs while we're pausing weight loss. However, if you end up eating higher fats or higher carbs, for example, if you stay within the limits of your weight set point, then you're fine. You should always aim for at least, as I said, 25-30% of your calories coming from protein. That's going to be a safe bet. And then you see what happens with your fats and carbs. But if you start with a third, a third, and a third, then we can adjust as you need to help keep you in your weight set point. This is one of those important tools you're going to gain from phase 2. So to track your macros, it's very simple. You go to calories remaining in the diary, tap macros, and there you'll see your pie chart. And you can review days in the past. You can plan for tomorrow. Planning for tomorrow is always a great way to make sure that you don't get caught flat-footed in ending up at dinner time and realizing you only had like 10% of your calories from protein, and now you gotta eat all this protein late at night or something. That's gonna, it's better to plan your day, put in your breakfast, what your lunch, your snack ideas, things like that. And then you can just see how's that shaping up. Ooh, I added a little too many fats in my meal planning here, so let's bump that down. Very simple to do. Now, the next thing in phase 2 is what do you get to add to eat? We have this slide here, which shows our generally safe to add foods. So healthy fats and oils, of course. This includes avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil, grass-fed butter. All these are sources of healthy fats and oils. All fruits are available to you. Some more vegetables like peas, carrots, pumpkin, squash, eggplant. All animal proteins are available. This includes the fattier ones, and in fact, salmon counts as a healthy fat. And you can mix your fruits and mix your vegetables in phase two. You can repeat them in phase two. The most important thing is just to keep tabs on your calorie intake and your macro balance as you add fruits and proteins. We do get to add some new sweeteners like monk fruit, erythritol, and xylitol. Um, Now, we do have a list of foods that we will stay away from in phase two. This includes beer, sugars, and this will include dried fruits and canned fruits still, honey and agave as well, so no honey or agave, and artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and others we will still avoid in phase two. Essentially, we need to give the body a little bit more time, especially the gut biome, especially that gut biome, so that because some of these artificial sweeteners um, are very sensitive to the gut biome. So if we give it a little bit more time, then we can probably more likely bring these in as you so choose. Now, I know some people will tell me it's like, but Dr. Ammon, I'm worried about aspartame. Okay, then don't use it in phase three. You know, I'm I'm trying to be conservative in what we're limiting you to. So this stuff, stay away from in phase two. Rice, potatoes, corn, those are still going to be verboten in phase two. And processed oils like vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, and peanuts and margarine, not for phase two. Now, the final category of foods, though, are things we call cautionary. So these are foods that can trigger weight spikes, that can interrupt resetting your hypothalamus. And it's a weight spike if you, or a trigger food if it causes you to have a weight spike of more than 2 pounds, or if it gets pushed over the upper limit of the weight set point. So we add them with caution. We wait 5 to 7 days into phase two, and only like 1 or 2 at a time and in small servings. That's going to help you really identify if a food is a trigger food, and not just, hey, maybe the dairy, for example, wasn't a trigger food for you, but you added like a whole block of cheese in for the day. Well, a whole block of cheese might even knock me out of weight set point, and and my body loves dairy. So, um, dosage matters here. And if you identify a food as a trigger food, then we need to remove it for the duration of phase two, because the main first goal of phase two is that cellular rehabilitation and resetting the. So, what are examples of cautionary foods? I already mentioned dairy, but beans, chickpeas, cassava flour, tapioca starch, beets, these are all examples of cautionary foods. So, do so 1 or 2 at a time. And then, if you're not sure something is a cautionary food, talk to your coach. Ask our Facebook group. So that first week of phase two, we're going to start with about 800 to 1,000 total calories, including 2 servings of healthy fats and oils. What that looks like is pretty much what you ate during phase one, but we add 2 servings of healthy fats and oils. Day 2, we add roughly 200 calories. So again, all you got to do is start making your protein servings bigger, your fruit servings bigger. Day 3, we keep adding more calories. Day 4. Now in phase 2, you're not limited to an 8-hour window. So maybe you find that you need to expand your 8-hour window to a 10 or a 12-hour window. By day 5, if you have a large number of calories to get to, maybe we start playing with bigger jumps, because we do want to get to your calorie goal ideally within 7 to 10 days, all while maintaining your weight set point. So again, by the end of the week, you should be getting real close to your total calorie goal. And now during this time, your weight will go up and down, so don't freak out. As long as you stay within those limits of the weight set point, I don't care if you're sitting at 1.8 pounds above your weight set point, or if you're sitting at minus 1.8 pounds below your weight set point, you're fine, okay? Text your coach every day so that they can help you identify when we need to use some of our additional phase 2 tools. Phase 2 tools are, for example, if your weight goes too low, the simple one is you eat more food. Very simple. If it goes too high, then we need to do a little digging. We identify trigger foods. If we see, oh, you added some black beans yesterday, all right, let's cut it out. Let's take it out. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Review your macro balance. By eating black beans, for example, maybe that pushed your carbs really high. Okay, so we cut that out, and we're also going to drop your carb macros more in line with the third, a third, a third, for example. We reduce the calorie count. Maybe we just got to back down again and build it and work on building it up. We can also use an 8-hour window. An 8-hour window is going to regulate your insulin levels, and that will in turn help bring your weight back to weight set point. And we can do one of these things or a combination of these 4 things. Your coach will talk with you about that after, like, if we go over weight set point, they'll say, any new foods yesterday? And if you say, okay, I added some yogurt. All right, let's hold off on the yogurt. Let's cut that out. Let's hold off on it. Let's increase, no, there was no new foods, but I did eat a lot more fruit. So my carbs were really high. Okay, let's eat a little less fruit. Let's get our calories from healthy fats and protein, for example. All those things are ways that your coach will troubleshoot with you. And if the next day you are still outside of your weight set point, then we do what we call a phase 2 reset day, which is when you'll do a full fast, only eating dinner. It'll be a simple dinner of protein, fruit, and vegetables. Get lots of fluids during the day. Yes, take your Reliv shake kind of near dinner. That'd be a good idea. But it's a simple dinner, and that's it. And then we get you back in weight set point, and we will try to ramp up your calories maybe a little quicker than before to get you back up to your weight set point. Well, to get you back up to your calorie goal while maintaining weight set point. If you have to do a reset day once or even twice in phase 2, that's not an issue, as long as we're able to get you back up to your calorie goal relatively quickly. In general, think of it this way. You want to spend, like, after your first week of phase 2, when you've gotten up to your calorie goal, you should be spending, like, if you're spending at least 80% or more of the time in weight set point at calorie goal, then the 3 weeks is probably going to be a sufficient amount of time for you. But if we have more struggles with that in terms of staying up at your calories, or then your coach might advise you to extend phase 2 beyond 3 weeks to really make sure we've reset the hypothalamus. Now, Vicky kind of mentioned some of these tools that we use in phase 3, and these are my simple phase 3 rules, because I don't want anyone to feel that they're on a forever diet. I've had some family members who, it's funny that they, because of how I achieved my weight loss and stuff like that, some of them, they seem to forget that I do eat sugar. I do have regular stuff all the time. So it's funny when they see me, like, eating regular ice cream, and they think, oh, are you off plan or something? It's like, no, I'm fully on plan. I'm just using my 3 simple rules. I weigh myself daily or often. This keeps myself on track and closer to my weight set point. Rule 2 is the 80-20 rule. As long as I don't flip that or invert that, then my cells are able to tolerate the extra loads that we put on. So 80-20, 80% is clean, nutritious food, but it's still delicious. Like, steak and potatoes for me falls in that 80%. I think I can live like that. All right. Like, but 20% is fun food. Fun food are the things that either like, let's be real, sugar. Yeah, we get it. That's a fun food. Just because, like, you have sugar one day in phase 3 again, and it doesn't cause you to have a weight spike. I'm certain that if you had 80% of your diet be candy, we know what would happen. All right. So, like, let's be sensible and smart about this. But that still leaves you plenty of room to enjoy that stuff. So fun food is just whatever fun food is for you. And if you keep it balanced like that, then you will properly support your body, so you don't increase your risk of an inflammatory injury from too much fun food. Okay. And the last thing though is fear no food. So add one or two new foods at a time, see how your body responds. My example I classically use is I started phase three. I was really wanting to have normal lasagna, not using any special noodles or anything like that, just normal Olive Garden lasagna. And I enjoyed it, and I didn't have a weight spike the next day. Perfect. I know that my body tolerates that food, and thank heavens because I love me Italian food. The next day, I then had potatoes. I had actually a couple of I had French fries and I had mashed potatoes, and my weight did well. Good. My body tolerates potatoes well. That's good because I like my Irish food too. So the last thing though that I had rice. I did some Chinese food, and then I had a weight spike over 2 pounds. All right. I still enjoy Chinese food. I still have rice, but I had it less often. And here's the funny thing, by putting it more in my 20% and just continuing to let my body recover with time while I maintain my weight, while I repeated the program in order to get to my much closer to my end weight loss goal, where I've now lost over 112 pounds, and kept it off. But by just doing these simple three rules, and as I said, continue to support my body, sometimes more intentionally or intensively with a round of phase one and then doing phase two, but always trying to support my body with that good cellular nutrition. It's been amazing to see how actually a food that used to be a trigger food for me, rice, is now not so much a trigger. And it very rarely is there a time that I have a rice dish that causes me to have a weight spike. So, it's just something to consider. Relivfit is not. We talk about it as weight loss for normal people many times, where we get in, we do a short program, we get in, we get out, and we get back to life. So we talk about it often in these 20 or 40 days or 3 weeks, all that stuff. But we still are thinking about the long game. All right. Now we're using the program to essentially make big chunk plays, get chunk yardage on the field, but we still got to go. We still got to go all 100 yards. We got to march all 100 yards to score the touchdown of life. So, um, stuff to consider, and stuff I think to give you hope that if you will trust the process, use the cellular nutrition to your advantage, and the tools that you're going to gain from the program that we discussed here in phase two, the ones you already learned about in phase one, and to use our Relivfit community, then let's see where you are, not just 40 or 60 days from now, but where are you next year? Where are you the year after that? All right. I think your health benefits can truly be exponential with the Relivfit program. So these are a few questions that are often asked about phase three, so I'm going to leave them up here. But now we're going to check if there's any questions in the Q&A, or if if you'd rather vocalize your question, then raise your hand and we'll open up your microphone. But the time is yours. Sure thing. Yeah. So um I will say this. She is phase uh so she's at day 9. She's lost 4 point something pounds, 4 pounds. Okay. So all in all, as of right now, she's actually like, if we say, hey, we expect you to lose 10 pounds in 20 days, if we put that into some perspective, she is like just trailing just a little bit behind standard progress. Because by about day 10, we should be at like roughly 5 pounds. So I know some people they expect the first week to see the most changes, and that is probably the most common thing. The first week, a lot of people see a big change in the first week. But that's not the case for everyone. Sometimes those a lot of the changes are coming on the back half, as it were. So you were right to do a plateau breaker. All right. If she does a plateau breaker, and I'm just going to assume she loses after that. And then if she encounters another weight stall, like either 2 consecutive days of weight gain or 3 days of no change, it'll be too soon to do another plateau breaker. But that's also an indication that her body is needing a little bit more fuel to get the lipid metabolism going. And that's when we would do the coconut oil protocol with her of adding 2 tablespoons of coconut oil for 3 consecutive days. Also might be helpful just make sure that she's, of course, consuming enough fluids. So the 80 to 100 ounces minimum, eating more than 16 to 20 ounces of vegetables, getting the pink salt in, the 1 teaspoon of pink salt, and then if she's doing all that, then make sure that that her proteins are the lean proteins, as the manual indicates. Make sure the serving sizes are right for her proteins and her fruits. And then at the same time, track what protein she's eating. Maybe like you notice, like she made more progress when she used not ground turkey, for example. That was my sister's example, but that's something that we could only know by looking back and reflecting and see if we notice any pattern. Um, so those are just some things to consider. Make sure her energy and her hunger are being well controlled. If she feels very fatigued or hungry, add the 1 or 2 extra hard-boiled eggs on top of her normal eating plan. But no, perfect. Okay, and energy, great. So yeah, no, I think that she's just one of those people that the first week, um, and there's some, I don't know what her previous history was before. I will say some people who I know who are chronic dieters who have tried lots of different things in the past, who have tended to end up now being in chronic calorie deficits that their body adapted to. Sometimes phase 1 is not as shocking, as it were, to the system. Um, and then that means um, that's why the plateau breaker or the coconut oil protocol, like as I just said, that's going to help to kind of correct that, to say like, oh no, this is what we're really doing. Okay. Add a tablespoon to a cup of coffee. Again, it does need to be in the 8 hour window, but uh, use it as like a creamer in coffee. Make uh, dressings, cook your food in it, eat it, put it in a smoothie, eat it straight off the spoon. Yeah, cabbage like broccoli and cauliflower might need to be limited to like 1 time a week. or like sometimes in lower quantities because some people they can go to town on cabbage. So yeah, that might be so I have seen commonly that cabbage can be an issue for some people in causing some bloat and water retention that then makes the weight loss not as obvious. Great. And thank you, Linda, for answering the questions in the Q&A. I'll go over them so other people can enjoy it. And then Anita, will go to you. Phase one, we do limit cottage cheese to 1% and only once a week. That's important to remember as well as a protein source. You can use 2% or even whole fat cottage cheese in phase two. As Linda noted, though, that that can increase your fat macros substantially if you're not careful. So watch out for that. Um, Diana, what can I use in phase one for muscle spasms, even though I drink 80 ounces of water? Now, are these to be clear, are you saying spasms or cramps? I'm going to assume you mean cramps, like getting leg cramps or something like that. You can correct me on that, but what I would do is uh, maybe a little bit more water than just 80 ounces. 80 ounces is like the bare minimum. The other thing though would be to include like Energize Go, for example, in the morning while you take your other Energize serving in your 8 hour window. So you need some more electrolyte support. Um, and as Linda's mentioned, 24K also is really good. It has some nice support for muscles. You could probably use the another tool if you'd like would be like the AM support. What's nice about Energize Go and the AM support is that you can take them outside of your eating window. So both of those 24K and AM support have some CoQ10 enzyme and various things that uh, various amino acid type of support that can help with muscles and cramping and spasms. Um, uh, and aside from that, maybe adding a little bit more pink salt. So make sure that if you are doing 80 to 100 ounces of fluid, make sure you're getting that full teaspoon of pink salt. And if we need to, we can add a half teaspoon more. All right. Yeah. Yep. So we'll go to Anita and then Jeanette, I'll come to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. One thing I just wanted to jump on Asmani's comment about the cabbage. So I was doing raw cabbage or cooked cabbage, like slightly wilted, and it did like affect me. But like in a couple days, all of a sudden, like I'm dropping like a pound and a half. So it's just, I think probably cabbage is just hard to digest. um, so I have two questions. Uh, the exercise on phase two, how much is too much on exercising?
Too much on exercise is going to be if you are not able to work out again after 48 hours.
Oh, okay.
So it just has to do like, did you overwork yourself? Because that would mean that if you are not able to do a workout similar to um I know I'll have there'll be some exercise science bro who will tell me it's like, no, 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 you can totally fatigue the system and do exercise like one time a week with some extreme weight training and then take the week off. And it's like, and I can't argue with their results because they're this massive jack dude. It's like, okay, you got me, but that's not the normal person. Um, so realistically, yeah, if you do a workout and your muscles and your body is so fatigued that you can't exercise, like real exercise again for more than 48 hours, then you put on too much systemic overload on the body and you're not going to be building muscle with that, which is
Okay.
again the main driver of exercise. So there's not really any upper outside of that. There's
Mhm.
no real upper limit. So like if you want to do 60 minutes of 60 minutes of moderate of moderate to moderately intense exercise, cardio, that's fine. Weight training, there's nothing that says you there's nothing on that in phase 2.
Okay. So it's just really just how we feel, and just like you said before a few slides ago, just gradual increments.
Yeah, and it's not likely. I know
Mhm.
some people are wondering because sometimes I get some people who start exercising in phase 2 and they're thinking, "Wow, I'm struggling to stay in my weight set point." Maybe it's because I'm putting on so much muscle.
Yeah.
I don't know if in the 3 weeks, most of the most of the strength gains or anything like that you see in the first 3 weeks of an exercise program are pretty much all neural recruitment. It's not actually mass building yet. And to top it off, we're not even putting you in a calorie surplus to start to gain mass.
Okay.
Now in phase 3, you're like, okay, you can continue, yeah, then you can start playing around with, hey, I want to put on muscle. I actually want to put on muscle and stuff like that. Totally fine. And part of that process is going to be starting in phase 2. Like you can start that process in phase 2 by getting through that neural recruitment phase where like the newbie gains, as it were,
Uh-huh.
and then you. So no, there's no upper limit to exercise
Oh, perfect. Okay.
outside of don't kill yourself.
Yes. No, we're not going to do that. And then I have another question, but on phase 1. And this is perfect for you too, because you being a chiropractor. So I have a friend who's a massage therapist. And I was talking to her the other day, and she was like, she's seriously considering the product, and the program. But she's like, oh, so there's no exercise. And I'm like, well, let me find out exactly what, because she has to, like, she does some strength training so that way she can physically, perform her job. Would she be a candidate then for the athletic type program that you're developing?
I
Or,
mean, she
yeah,
could, but I think she's overthinking it.
she's overthinking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I highly doubt that again, we're talking a 20 or 40-day period of time,
Mm-hmm.
that if she just reduced whatever exercise she's currently doing by like 50%,
Uh-huh.
that she's going to lose all the strength and she can't give massages anymore.
Yeah.
She's overthinking it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, so when we're doing like a metabolic reset, like phase 2, sorry,
Uh-huh.
like phase 1, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Um, if we're overstimulating the body with the demands of exercise, when again if we're trying to lose weight and we're putting ourselves, especially in phase 1, in the yes, we are in a calorie deficit. We don't track calories and all that, yada yada yada. But yes, inherently you are in a calorie deficit. Um, then too much exercise in phase 1 is going to be counterproductive to their results. And
Okay.
they can say and she can say all that she wants, that like, well, unless I do these exercises. Now, I'm pretty sure that the exercise that she's talking about, if she's going to be talking about exercises that allow her to do her job, are
Yes.
going to be more like physical therapy level intensity.
Okay.
But if she's saying, well, no, I can't do my job as a massage therapist unless I'm going and squatting 200, 100
No,
pounds
yeah,
or
right.
more,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm going to have to question that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, if she wants to, like, if she needs to move around, like
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes of walking, something like that. There's some type, or we're talking very, simple body exercises, but we're not working it up to a sweat. So
Yeah.
again, that the 5,000 step rule
Uh-huh.
is in general what I use. So that would be my guidance. Uh, and I don't think that she needs to wait until I have officially rolled out the
Uh-huh.
athlete protocol.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, awesome. So when I saw her yesterday, she looked at me, she's like, Anita, if I didn't know, I would think that you are doing training, like you're working out. My
Isn't
body
that
has
amazing?
changed so dramatically. I'm like, this is so wild. She's like, your skin is amazing, the turgor is amazing.
I love it. I
Dr.
love that
Ammon is
validation. I love
amazing.
that validation.
Yeah, yeah. So it was very exciting. Yeah, very exciting. I couldn't wait to see her. I'm like, you got to see my body. Anyways, thank you for the clarifications.
Sounds great.
Mhm.
Yeah, Diana, did you have a question, or did Linda get that taken care of in the? You can go ahead and unmute Diana. All good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now we can. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Linda did answer the question. I didn't know you could take 24K in phase one.
Yeah, that's one of our tools in our advanced protocols that I go over with coaches on the Monday night Zoom for coaches. So again, your coach
Okay.
can help you with that. But yep, it's a good tool. It's a good tool. I love it. I like it. I often use it with people who deal with kind of a sleep issues. They're struggling to go to sleep, stay asleep, and I find that's quite helpful for them. But that's just one of the benefits. There are lots of great things about it.
I get bad. I call it muscle spasm because it's really like bad to the point that I would get lightheaded and dizzy.
What is the spasm? Is it in your legs or is it in your back?
It's in my legs.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that hydration is what better hydration, and that's not just fluid intake, that is electrolyte intake. So
Mm-hmm.
taking your teaspoon of pink salt, making it a teaspoon and a half, adding Energize, and adding like extra Energize in the form maybe like Energize Go, can be helpful.
I can't do the Energizer Go. When I did one phase before, it was too much caffeine in there.
All right, then
Yeah,
do an
it
extra
affects
Energize
me.
Zero instead of Energize Go.
Yeah. Okay. So I could do more scoop of that, like
Correct.
2 scoop. Okay. Okay.
For
Okay.
Energize Zero, yes.
Okay. Um and okay, because I have the regular Energizer, the natural lemon flavor. That one, just stay with a half with that if I use that one, right?
I would You could try doing like a adding like an extra scoop. I know that with the
It's just
Energize
sugar
Zero,
though.
I know with the Energize Zero, I have I've had great results with the Energize Zero in terms of your phase one goals and
Right.
and if you need extra electrolyte support. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Osmani. Yeah, whatever type of exercise program they want to do. Um, Pretty much moderate cardio type of thing. Like if so doing 30 to 60 minutes of cardio where by the end of it you've worked up a sweat. Uh, you've worked up a sweat. Maybe your heart rate is definitely elevated, and your maybe like you got a little bit of breathing, like you got to have a little recovery by the end of it. That steady state cardio is at least 30 to 60 minutes. You could easily do that every day. That's totally fine every day. Resistance and weight training, and for that, if that doesn't mean necessarily going and immediately jumping to the bar, if that's body weight exercises for you, kind of calisthenics. Um, if you do that and you do the traditional 1 day on, 1 day of rest, getting in like 3 exercises a week roughly, or if you go a little heavier and you do 2 exercises sessions a week, that's totally fine. So yeah, you don't need to exercise every day in phase 2. I would say that if you're exercise, just so first off, the number one rule when it comes to increasing your movement, increasing your activity, is find the thing that you actually like and do it. So if you like playing, if you like going on a bike ride, then just purposely say, I'm going to go on a bike ride, and instead of just doing a 15-minute breeze around the neighborhood, I'm going to do a solid hour. If you enjoy going on walks, putting on the podcast, that works too. If it's dancing, if dancing is your jam, then do dancing, swimming, all that stuff. Whatever it is, just make it. That's the first step: is find something that you actually enjoy, and that you actually would enjoy doing for a sustained amount of time, be it 30 to 60 minutes. And if you find that, then that's a great start. And then you can realize what's your next goal. Like I don't I don't enjoy weight training necessarily myself. I have a vision of myself of wanting to enjoy weight training. And the truth is, when I'm done with a good weight training session, I'm like, yeah, that was good. But the getting there is not always the easiest. Whereas like, oh, I go on a 30-minute walk and I'm like, all right, Janine, go ahead.
Hello. Oops, did I do it?
Oh, you're good.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I started my phase 1 finally, and I'm on day 10. And I'm not losing the weight as fast as I thought I would. I mean, I am losing some, but for the last 2 days, I like gained like zero point 0.4, and then this morning it was 0.2. So I'm kind of a little disappointed. But today I did the apple breaker.
Okay.
So I feel
Yeah.
good. And I don't know where I should go from there.
Well, after the breaker, you would go right back to the normal phase 1 routine. And then if you have another stall, then we would do the coconut oil protocol. I filled in Osmani on this a bit, but
Okay.
and so we'll follow up with you there in our texts. But no need to be disappointed. In truth, you are um, you are progressing right along
Okay.
with with a good more or less in line with our uh, expected type of goals.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still on track for at least 10 pounds in 20 days. Okay. So
Okay.
you're still on track for that.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, as the biggest thing is just remember, you're not a robot. So
Yep.
if this was a math problem, trust me,
Mm-hmm.
if losing weight was a math problem of calories in, calories out, like everyone wants us to think it is, then we really would have, then we would be seeing much more success in the weight loss space. And I wouldn't have needed to have come up with this program,
Okay.
because some people say, well, no, they'll argue it's calories in, calories out, and
Mm-hmm.
discipline, and they'll argue that, and I can see their point, but we all know many people who they go a month, and that's the challenge, is like they'll go a month of like calories in, calories out, lots of all this discipline, and they feel like they have nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely stops people, that gets people to stop, and they run into issues. But most of them don't go back in. Once someone starts like a weight loss program that somewhat worked for, or maybe not, like that maybe didn't work for them,
Mm-hmm.
most of them are not giving up in failure and going back to like really bad eating habits. So what it is your body is just doing a lot more work under the hood, as it were, that isn't reflecting on the scale yet, but it will.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you.
So Jeanette, in regards to your first question about the Relivfit cookbook, uh, my wife is really hard at work with it. But here's exhibit A for why it might be a little slower than, but we do expect it to be coming out probably in, if not late spring, early summer. That's our target. And in terms of when you do the program, after a few days, you tend to crave sweets. Any suggestions? Well, first so you use your fruits. So that's one of the reasons that we use the fruits. So use your fruits. Yep, they hear you. Don't worry. So use those fruits. You could play around with increasing your Lunarich to help with the neural inflammation from the sugar addiction or sweet addiction. And I also find that something that helps with sweets cravings is to swap out using using sparkling waters that are somewhat flavored, that kind of gives you a sense of a sweet. It's not like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not the sweetest thing, but it's something that, as you are working it out, but by the end of phase one, you should have you should see some significant improvement in that sweet control. That's another that's an example where, let's say if you were using Now and Energize and Fiber Store, maybe you swap to Classic Energize and Fiber Store, and see how that does with your see how that help. That might have a different way in terms of how your body regulates your body's insulin response. There is a slight difference in how Now and Classic do that, and I find that Classic might help with that. Don't know if what you were doing, but those are my suggestions. All right. Wonderful. If there are no more questions, then we'll wrap it up there.
Recording stopped.
All right. Well, then I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And we will catch you, coaches. We will catch you on Monday for the Coach Zoom. And again, everyone enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Ammon.